Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Code. One thing we like to try to do in this show is to keep it balanced. So we generally alternate between the legal professionals and the founder stories. So this week we're back with the legal professionals. We got a great story. I'm joined by Daniel Lowe, who's the legal lead at Acheron Trading, or Acheron, depends which side of the globe you're coming from, which is a crypto market maker based in Singapore with a growing global footprint. We're going to get into Daniel's alternative legal career path, what a market maker actually does day to day, and how regulation looks from the inside when you're operating at scale, and some really practical ways legal teams are using AI right now for compliance and internal controls. A quick teaser before we jump in. Next week, we got a very special episode coming up with Yoni Asia, the CEO of eToro. So make sure you're subscribed. You don't want to miss that one. All right, let's get into it. Daniel Lowe, welcome to the show. Welcome to Beyond the Code, the podcast where industry experts and brilliant legal minds discuss the impact of new emerging technologies. I'm your host, Yitzy Hammer, a lawyer and tech enthusiast. Join us as we explore the legal, regulatory, and ethical issues surrounding AI, blockchain, and more. Get ready to go beyond the code and stay ahead of the game. Thank you so much for joining me here on the pod today. I love when I get on this is, 9 out of 10 interviewees or guests on the podcast I've never spoken to before and never seen before. So I don't know virtually anything about you except what Google and ChatGPT were able to tell me.
Right.
But I'm very excited to learn a lot more about it. And I'm sure our audience is as well. So, other than the fact that you're like a crypto OG and a legal professional, with quite a bit of crypto legal under your belt. So I'm excited to hear more. And I don't know if you had an opportunity to listen to previous episodes, but the way I like to do it is like really just to deep dive into you. Like obviously we'll get to everything you're doing later on. It's super important. I want to hear all about Acheron, but I also want to hear all about you and like kind of your career and how you got to where you are today. And don't like give it to me in 3 seconds. Like go real slow. I think like no, seriously, I think one of the real benefits, and I get this kind of feedback a lot from like young lawyers, both like aspire to get into the blockchain space, and also generally, they don't know what their career path is going to look like, especially in such a turbulent world. And they always appreciate kind of hearing people's background stories. I worked in this firm, and I went here, then I went there. It gives them a certain appreciation what their career might look like. So please, by all means, tell me a little bit about you and your background, and get as deep
Okay.
into it as you want.
I love it. I love it. I mean, I actually, like, as an aside, during COVID, I did a lot of tutoring or mentoring for young lawyers because I realized that during COVID, a lot of their careers have been stalled, especially the 3Ls trying to get, jobs. It's impossible. So I did a lot of mentorship coaching and actually eventually spoke to around 300 lawyers, law students across the world.
Wow.
So I completely understand, and I love that you want to deep dive into careers because I love to career build as well. So thanks for
Okay.
that.
And that was like what, like a passion project? Just like you're like, it's COVID, I want to help people?
Yeah, I mean, COVID, I want to help people. I was bored. I wanted to talk to people, and I get lawyers, right? So it made sense.
That's
But I just
phenomenal.
remember, like, when I graduated from law school, it was like the peak of financial crisis. So it was hard to get summer positions. It was hard to get a training contract. So I really empathize with the kids at that time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's yeah, I also kind of like at every point in my legal career, I was looking through the lens of like what people around me were saying or doing, right? Like I had no
Mm,
idea what this was going to actually look like, but everybody I spoke to was like, "Oh, you should do this. You'll of course do that." And there was a lot of uncertainty, which sometimes could be a good thing, but
mm.
also could be very daunting. So I think information, especially in a day like today, in today's day and age, like information is power, and like the
Yes.
more you know, the better you positioned you are to make career choices and life decisions. And so,
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
please dispense
exactly.
away.
Yeah. I mean, I often describe my career as like an alternative legal career. I didn't really go through the kind of partly go through the usual course, but I didn't. But I'm from Toronto. I did my undergrad at University of Toronto, and then usually those would kind of do law school in Canada, where you're from. But I was born in Hong Kong, So it kind of the British schools, British law schools have always fascinated me, and I've always wanted to work internationally later. And of course, common law, British,
You
law
could have gone to
degrees
British
have.
Columbia. Was it?
You're right. You're right.
It's
Not to
probably one
say
of the
British,
nicest
but
places in the world. Also,
Vancouver's
if you're a
beautiful.
nature lover, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So like after that, I
So you
went to law
set your
school
eyes
in.
sights on London.
That's
Okay.
oh yeah. So I went to Birmingham in the UK for two
Birmingham.
years. Then I went to
Like
London. I wrote the
that's like the
bar
shitty
there.
version of London.
That's where it's. I mean, it's
Birmingham. I'm saying like my wife is
yeah.
from London and like her friends went to study business in Birmingham and they're like to go out from London to Birmingham and come back is like
That
it's a
was my
trip.
weekend. I
Yeah.
didn't really spend time in Birmingham. I just more zipped over to London. But yeah, I mean, like UK for 3 years. I wrote the bar in London for the final year. Then after I went back to Toronto, I did my LLM at U of T again in securities law, and hence why kind of securities, crypto kind of tied in. But yeah, after I did that, I went to Denton's in Calgary. Have you been to Calgary? Do you know Calgary?
Yeah, I have been spent a weekend there
Okay,
in the went hiking in the Rockies with my parents. I was younger,
nice.
granted, but it's a beautiful area.
Yes, yeah. So if you're a big outdoors person, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
If you're into cowboys and that kind of rodeos, Calgary is our Houston, Texas, basically. Um, so I was in M&A oil and gas for 2 years, and then after that, I moved to Hong Kong, where I'm from, and joined a family office doing private equity investment and funds. But then after 2 years of that, I decided, you know what, the pace is a bit too crazy. I need something slower, but not as slow as Toronto. But I
Okay.
still loved Asia. So I decided, you know what, Singapore is right around the corner. Let's give that a shot. And so at the time, I joined Walkers. It's a Cayman Islands law firm that does investment
I'm
funds.
familiar. Hmm.
Yeah, did that for 2 years, and then jumped over to UBS asset management side. Did more investment funds, and then after that, that was my foray into crypto. So I joined a DeFi retail crypto company in Singapore called Cake, and also did that for 2.5 years. And then I moved over to where I currently am, which is Acheron Trading. We're a crypto market maker based in Singapore with a presence in the Netherlands. So that's kind of roundabout way of where I ended up.
So I think you skipped one thing. Like at least based on your LinkedIn profile, you set up the LDU, which is I guess kind of like your
Oh,
cool private
yes.
practice, right? Legal disruption unit or something.
Yeah.
Can't remember what the exact the exact wording was, but I thought it was
that
really cool.
I actually, you're right. So, Legal Disruption Unit, or LDU, is a consultancy, legal and regulatory consultancy that myself and my co-founder, also named Daniel, started
Okay.
back 3 years ago. So, you're right. We started that in Singapore, helping startups, but more recently, helping more crypto projects
Hmm.
with regulatory licensing, helping with just overall startups. Because crypto companies, at the end of the day, they're all just startup companies. So, they
Yeah,
still need
sure.
shareholder agreements, they still do fundraising. So yeah, that's kind of my passion.
Very cool. Wait, so tell me a little bit about Acheron or Acheron. How do you
Yes,
pronounce it? Acheron.
everyone gets it. Everyone gets it. Oh,
I
it's either
assumed it was
Acheron or
Acheron.
Acheron. Yeah. So Acheron is a crypto market maker.
Okay.
We're based in Singapore, but we have subsidiary in Netherlands because we just got the CASP license to
Mazel
passport
tov.
into Mika. Thank you. Took a year. Took a year. It's a
Wow.
long year,
Yeah.
but got it done. But in
And
Singapore
and
as
I
well,
understand that
we're
you have like multiple roles there, right? You're like on the legal and on the
yeah,
managerial side. Okay. So like you've
yep,
kind
yep.
of just migrated a little bit out of being like the lawyer dude and gotten more into the business side. Is that just did that happen naturally or were you specifically looking to get there? And how's that been for you?
I was looking to dabble more into the business side, but the roles here with Ashron, the managing director side, so managing the board, and also the GM side, came by needs basis. We're a fairly lean and agile team. So when something comes up where we need someone to fill in, well, I mean, who's senior here, who has a legal background? Well, this guy kind of naturally progressed into these roles.
Okay, cool. And so how's that been? Like tell me a little bit about like Acheron's products and like what sets you guys aside from other players in the market and B what it's like being in those multiple very key roles, especially during such a turbulent time in crypto's history.
Um, so our services, we have a number of them, four mainly. These days it's more three. The first one is designated market making. It's kind of like our
Okay.
contractual white glove relationship where clients, projects that want a TGE that haven't done so,
Hmm.
they'll commit a mixture of a retainer, a monthly fee, and then there's like a profit share or some sort of performance fee on top. And by that way, we kind of help them set their algos, set their scripts, set their strategies, and go to
So
TGE.
like standard market making.
Standard market making.
Right.
And then the other side, of course, is kind of the prop side. So loan call option agreements.
Hmm.
We do less. We do prop, but we do less prop. We do more kind of proper market making. That's
Okay.
our strength. That's our passion. So that's kind of what we do. And then the third one is more managed execution. So kind of like block buying, selling. That yeah, that's rounds
Okay.
out the three services.
Like on and off ramp or like exchange type
OTC,
services?
OTC kind of.
OTC. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. And are most of your clientele are in Asia?
It's a mixed bag. Mixed bag.
Okay.
So we've got some Europeans, we got some Asians as well. But of course, entity-wise, a lot of them are BVI, a lot of them are Cayman.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell where they really are from.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, all over.
Okay, very cool. And are you guys working on any kind of new products and features? I'm sure, like, if you're not already, if you don't already have one, you're maybe considering a prediction markets route. I'm sure you saw that crypto.com launched today
Yep.
their prediction market, and like everybody who's anybody is trying to get in on that game.
Yes. I like to say that we're a bit behind in terms of adoption, but only because we
That's
like to
not a
see
good
how the
place to
market
be.
reacts first. You're right. You're right. You're right. I mean, for instance, like even perps. We haven't been fully into perps yet. We're
Okay.
still exploring it, and that might actually be a good thing because in October it all
Yeah,
went down the toilet. So we're kind of reassessing how the market's taking it, whether perps is still something we want to pursue. So kind of, I would say that we're more cautious in that way. Anytime we adopt any new services or products, even on our services, we are doing prop, so the loan call option. But there's other models that we're experimenting with that would set us apart. Now, I can't really share much about it. It is proprietary, but I would say that
that's fine.
yeah, we were definitely exploring different services.
Okay. So I'm actually a little bit more interested in LDU. Like, tell me, it both because I love the name, but also I mean I don't know if you know really anything about me, but I have
DLT.
yeah. So DLT is a global legal and compliance advisory for only exclusively for the crypto industry, and we work
Mhm.
obviously probably with a lot of similar clientele to what you were looking to service with LDU, and like I very much liked your approach. What's it been like? Is it? I understand for you it's more of like a side gig, so maybe you
Mhm.
don't like put as much like time and effort into it, but like it must be really fun, no?
It's really fun. We started 3 years ago on the basis of we wanted startups to have another option outside of the regular law firm billable hour.
Yeah,
6 unit increments is insane. I
yeah.
still feel like it's just insane to charge people like that. So
I
that
mean,
was the genesis
I'm
of.
happy to say that in 4 years that we've been active, we have never billed hourly. Like I don't believe in hourly billings. I think
Yes.
it doesn't incentivize lawyers to be efficient. It doesn't incentivize clients to want to pay more money. So like it just ever it's not a good model. So we've also like been pretty successful in not falling into that trap. But outside of like the billing scheme, like what kind of projects have you worked with? Like has it been engaging, fulfilling?
Mm. Yeah. Actually, LDU. Have you watched that movie War Dogs with Jonah Hill and I forgot the other guy's name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So where they like kind of
The other Jewish guy.
traffic. Yeah, exactly. Where they traffic guns across,
Yeah.
Iraq and whatnot. So there was one scene where they're in this boardroom and then building up a sales team, and one new intern was like, "Hey, I forgot AEY. What does AEY stand for?" And then Jonah Hill's like, "Well, I mean, what does IBM stand for? It means nothing. It just sounds cool." And then the guy's like, "No, it means International Business Machines." And then right away, Jonah Hill's like, "Get out. You're fired."
So don't ask too many questions.
So, like, yeah, LDU, what's it stand for? Sure, Legal Disruption Unit. We're trying to disrupt the legal industry, but it just sounds cool.
Yeah. No, it sounds cool, but it's also that's great, man. That's great.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love it.
So, so the kind of clients that we deal with, I mean, like you said, maybe kind of cross paths, similar in industry, but we look at not just crypto, but also fintechs. And because we're in Singapore, we're looking at fintechs that have licensing with the MAS, so
Yeah.
an MPI license.
Hmm.
A lot of times they don't need legal support; they need regulatory support and
Regulatory support.
compliance
Sure.
support. So it's how to engage with the regulator, what to say, what not to say, filling in certain forms. Usually pretty boring stuff, but it's actually essential
Yeah,
for
it's
these kind of
valuable for the
businesses.
yeah, of course. Okay, right. And I
Yeah,
saw you also you have an MLRO background, right?
yeah, yeah. So I mean, naturally, once again, it defaults to the person with the law degree. So
Again, like you're left kind of like holding the mixed bag. Like
yeah, left holding the bag, if you if you
exactly.
will.
Okay, very cool. So outside of like the legal work that you've done, you've obviously been very involved in the industry for a while. Like, what are some of the technologies or things that you're excited about? Like, what makes you bullish about this industry?
I have to talk about AI, of course. The use of AI, and of course, there's the Harvey. There's like other legal, like Spellbook. These are legal focused
Yeah,
AI. But for me, even simple GPT, the innovations they've had so far, creating projects and then being able to kind of like prompt and refer to projects, very simple, but very effective. And we use that a
hmm
lot at LDU, and even in my work at Acheron as well. We do rely on uh, AI as like an initial first cut, right? And that's how we're able to stay lean. That's how we stay agile. Instead of having a 5 or 6 person legal team, I have one senior or two senior counsels and one head of compliance here at Acheron. So
And like, so just give me like like a one tidbit use case of like how you're using those things. Just because like I love the AI use cases, and I'm obviously using all the legal platforms I can get my hands on, but also
mhm.
just looking to tweak the way I use GPT. Like I just recently, like 2 weeks ago, learned about projects. Like they were there, I never even noticed them, and it's like totally up my game. So like I'm always looking to kind of collect advice from other people. Like how are you using AI for like those day to day tasks, and maybe something that me and like other members of our audience can implement.
Yeah. So for Acheron, we are currently exempt entity under the MAS, but we're looking
Hmm.
to get our MPI license. We're in the queue. So one thing that we all often have to do is we have to look at the MAS guidelines and notices. So what
Hmm.
the regulator wants us to see in terms of internal controls, risk controls, and whatnot, but it's all in text. So it's hard for us to see, okay, are we fulfilling this requirement? So I will use GPT to say, okay, here is the legislation, here is the guidelines. Come up with a checklist for me so I can run through and do a gap analysis on where we stand and whether we fulfill this. So it kind of is, I use it in a kind of risk and internal controls way
Hmm.
where it helps me fulfill my regulatory obligations in a very clear form. Because otherwise, you're reading text, and that's really hard to
Right.
do with gap analysis.
And you're feeding all the data into it. So you know that it's not like lying to you, quote unquote, because it's only working within your data set.
Exactly. So I would upload the legislation or the guidelines into it, and I would say, provide me with the reference that you took this from. So section 5 of the document, section 8, and I will cross reference it because you don't want to trust blindly.
You
But
gotta
so
check
far,
your
it's been a hit.
associates.
Exactly. So far, it's been a hit. So that's an easy
Wow.
way to incorporate.
Okay. That's great. That's tip number one. You gotta give me three, man.
Oh, I mean, you got to subscribe.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, touche. Fantastic. Tell me what else are you excited about in the industry outside of AI?
Um, the industry, I mean, crypto wise is been pretty tough lately. But I am actually more interested in institutional adoption right now. I think certain certain regulators have focused more on institutions. I think Singapore is one of those places.
Yeah.
Uh,
Tell me a
so
little bit about like what the Asian regulators are doing or interested in, like what you're forecasting here.
yeah, I mean, I think Hong Kong and Singapore has always been one of those kind of battlefields where which one is going to be the more trusted crypto hub.
Hmm.
And so far, it's been Singapore that's
Singapore's
been
winning.
leading the
Yeah,
way. It's
hands down.
hands down,
I mean,
hands
Hong
down.
Kong looked like it was winning for a while, and then like a year and a half ago, it just totally like fell to the wayside.
Yep, Yep. But I think recently we're seeing that Hong Kong is making a bit of a comeback. So, for instance, Hong Kong crypto tax on capital gains, they removed that.
Hmm.
So they're trying to equate themselves to how we treat crypto
Right.
earnings in
That's on the
Singapore.
individual side, but like for
Mm.
projects, it's still like Singapore would be the way to go
Way to go. Yep.
from a licensing
SFC.
standpoint. Yeah.
Yeah, SFC in Hong Kong has been accelerating their approval of licenses, but nowhere near how MAS is going about it. But that's not to say the MS is easy. There's a number of companies that have dropped out recently due to the fact that they do not have the right internal controls. They don't have the risk infrastructure in place or the AML CTF infrastructure. And
Hmm.
naturally, they will just be asked by the MS, you should probably withdraw.
Right.
So, yeah.
And outside of like Hong Kong and Singapore, are there any other relevant players in the market?
Yeah. I mean, you always got ADGM in Abu Dhabi. You
No,
got
I mean like
VARA as well.
I don't count Vara and ADGM as Asia per se. It's more Middle East, MENA region. Like, but like so I don't know. Are there any other
Oh,
players that I'm not
yes,
aware of, like in the Asian markets that
absolutely.
are?
So, right now, a hot market that everyone's looking at is South Korea.
Mhm.
The regulations there are changing this year. End of Q1, their digital assets bill or legislation will open it up for institutions to participate. So right now, only individuals can sign on
Okay,
to exchanges. By end of Q1, institutions can sign on to exchanges, and that means the likes of market makers, custodians, and all can participate at that point.
okay, interesting. So Korea is another one. What else? What
Yeah.
about Malaysia?
Malaysia, not so much. I think a lot of the Malaysian projects eventually funnel through to Singapore, anyways. It's
Hmm.
one of the kind of two regional hubs, right? So if you're a
Right,
Chinese project, Singapore, maybe even Hong Kong, but they funnel through to these two core. And I think I don't see any other regulator here that would match that.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. What else?
What
I got
else?
you on my spotlight, man. This is your this is your time to shine.
I mean, crypto was never something that I thought I was going to get into, to be honest.
Okay, where did you see yourself? Where do you
I
think you
thought
were
I was going
going?
to be like in investment funds. I thought
Investment funds.
funds was where I was going to end up with the,
You were thinking dark suit, not a t-shirt.
yeah, dark suit. Join a firm, you become chief legal there, you get the carry, right, and then you're set for life. That was the game plan.
Really? You see it as set for the I see it as slave for life.
Set slave, like golden handcuffs, call it what
Yeah.
you will.
You're on a path.
You're on a path.
Okay. So are you
Yeah,
like pleasantly surprised or like disappointed with yourself?
I am. I'm proud of myself for
Okay.
stepping out of that path because I think, like I said, I kind of refer to my career as like an alternative legal career. Many of my friends have gone down the partnership path, the GC or for like a fund path. They do well, but they're just unhappy.
Yeah.
They're constantly
You-
unhappy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, I don't like to preach, but like anybody who will listen, um, I will tell them that the career path that I chose for myself, which wasn't an easy one, right? You talked about this like alternative legal path. Like it was the most terrifying, like leaving a big law firm was
Yeah,
the most terrifying thing that I ever did in my life. And not to mention like my parents' reaction when they heard, they were like, you what?
yeah,
Like,
dude.
you what? And
Jewish
for
parents.
what? To do what? A Bitcoin? What? What even is a Bitcoin? And like to this
Yes.
day, like my in-laws, every time I see them, they're like, you see the price of Bitcoin? Like they think that like everything I do is dependent on what Bitcoin is trading at a given moment. They still don't understand what I did. But I would, say again and again and again that like leaving and going down that alternative path is both
Mm,
immensely fulfilling and both in terms of like the type of work that we do and the type of
yes.
people that we get to work with and the fact that I mean, I don't know, I can't speak for you, but like at least for myself that like I am in control for the most part of my own time
Yes.
and I'm very grateful and appreciative of the alternative life that has been made available to me and maybe it's not for everyone because people tell me all the time when I try and preach them to leave their jobs uh that it's not for everyone, but I think that it is a tremendous thing for those who can make it work. So
I completely agree. I think you need a bit of entrepreneurial kind of grind, entrepreneurial mindset. I'm sure when you started your podcast as well, a legal podcast wasn't like a career path that you thought you'd probably do,
Right?
but
This
you
is
ended
just
up
a
here.
passion project, it's not a.
Yeah.
I started it because I was, ultimately I was bored. It was right after I started my practice and I didn't have that many clients yet. And I'm like, I want to do something fun. And so, one of my clients said, I'll be your first guest. And we did a show. It was actually, it was February 3rd, 2023. So like
Wow.
today is basically my podcast anniversary, 3-year
Congrats.
podcast
You made it.
anniversary. So yeah, and it was just like we had a really good time, and I was like, hey, this is fun. I'll keep doing it. So uh, still haven't made a penny from the podcast 3 years down the line, but it is such good fun. I meet
Yes.
really cool people. I have interesting conversations with people like you, and like, dude, you're from Singapore. Like, maybe in the crypto ecosystem, it's a little different because we probably would have crossed paths at, one of the side events at Token either last year or this year. But in a normal situation, my guests come from different places all over the world. Like, I wouldn't have
Mm,
necessarily run into you if I didn't have this platform that we could get together and
you're
shoot the
right.
shit. So, I'm grateful of that as well.
Yeah, I mean, dude, and also I'm always looking for like blockchain lawyers or crypto lawyer groups to join because I feel like there's so little of us.
There are so many
Um,
groups though. I'll hook
I
you
mean,
up. Oh yeah.
I'm in a few, but they're very reg heavy, of course,
Yes.
right?
It's
But
inevitable.
I'm exactly. But I'm looking for the ones where like, oh, let's just meet up and go for a drink kind of thing.
I'll hook you up after the show.
Nice. I'll fly to Tel Aviv.
No, we can meet in Singapore if you want. Very cool. Well,
Yeah.
Daniel, this has been real fun. Thank you so much. Like for those members of the audience who are listening outside of being inspired by your alternative legal path and story, what if they want to find more about Acheron or Acheron or the LDU or other cool projects that you are working on, like what's the best way to get in touch with you?
LinkedIn. I'm a big LinkedIn user, power user. So do find me, add me. I'm happy to talk about both Acheron and LDU. But otherwise, just happy to connect.
Awesome. Dude, thank you so much. This has been great.
Thanks, Yitzy.
Thank you for listening to Beyond the Code. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe, share with your friends, and to tune in again next week for more fun and insightful conversation.